Absolutely, absolutely. And with that being said, let's talk about a gentleman who really didn't have any time off. Actually, he was on time and on target this weekend. He was competing at UFC 114, fought a very competitive, very, very questionable decision loss to Antonio Rogerio Nogueira. Let's introduce him next. He's our next guest. Jason Brilz joins us on Shambala Sports Radio. Jason, how you doing tonight?
Great, guys. How you guys doing?
Awesome,
Pretty
awesome.
good.
Thanks for joining us on the program.
Hey, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
So I think most people want to know, did you report that theft?
Did I what?
Did you report that theft? There are so many people out there just saying that was more or less grand larceny by the judges.
You know what? It was a close fight, and he could have went either way, and it went his way, and it is what it is. You know, I'll deal with it, and actually I've already dealt with it, and I'll move on, and so will he, and that'll be that.
Jason, you surprised a lot of people by, not only going for attempts of submissions on Nogueira, but actually locking in several tight submissions. Did you ever feel like at any point in that fight that you had Nogueira at a point that he was ready to submit?
The first guillotine, I thought I had him pretty, I thought I had that dead to rights, but I figured, after I had it on, I was like, well, he's going to go out. He's not going to tap, and he didn't go out, and I was like, jeez, man, come on. Give a guy a break here. But he's a tough hombre.
Now, how do you think your performance in this fight bettered your career? How do you think that this whole experience made you a better fighter?
It was more of a confidence booster for me. Not necessarily how I performed, but against two. So knowing that I can go with, the top guys and, some of the legends of the sport, that's a real big confidence booster for me.
You look like you had the big smile on your face the entire time. Were you just having a blast in there?
Oh man, ever since I found out about the fight, I was just like, you serious? Is this really happening? And then I'm sitting out there, they announce my name, and I come out, and there's, 18,000 plus people, whatever it was. I was like, this is pretty cool. And then I'm getting in there, and, I'm competing with them, and, we're just, we're teeing off on each other and rolling all over the place. And I was like, this is what a fight's supposed to be like, just a little bit of everything. So, yeah, I was having a blast. Just a blast.
Now, what were some things that you learned about your own MMA skills by your performance against Nogueira?
I think that I got a hard head. He landed a couple shots on me, so I learned I could take a couple shots from a pretty good boxer, and learned that my jiu-jitsu is decent. His sweeps were unbelievable. So I'll learn from that. But mainly just the confidence, that I can go in there and I can compete with these guys.
Did you at any time feel like that you were in trouble?
The first guillotine, he had it, and I didn't feel in trouble at first, and then I was like, I'll just pull my head out here. I went to yank it out, and it didn't come out, and it got pretty tight. And I thought, but that was about the only time. There were a couple times before the fight, I was thinking I was in trouble. When I saw that knee that Hathaway landed on Diego, I thought, oh man, I know a Lil Nog has that knee. God, I hope that doesn't happen to me. Yeah, but those are about the only times I felt in trouble in the fight.
Now, Jason, it's well documented. You took this fight on short notice, a late replacement for Forrest Griffin. First question in regard to that, you didn't look like you had any rust for wear. What were you doing before you took that fight? Did you have another fight planned, or was there something else you were training for, perhaps, that you were mentally prepared to take this fight?
I was actually training for a triathlon. I was going to run with my dad. He was up in Wisconsin, and he does his triathlon every year, and he's been trying to get me to do it. So this year, I finally said, you know what, I'm going to do it with you. Lo and behold, so I was training for that. I felt, I was in good shape, to hit a short training camp. So that's why I took it.
We're talking to Jason Brilz here on Shambala Sports Radio. Go ahead and get your questions into the chat room if you do have them for him. Jason, now with this fight, with this strong performance, has Dana White given you any impression as to what could be next for you? Who a possible next opponent might be?
No, they haven't said anything. And, I emailed Mr. Silva and said, I thanked him for the opportunity and everything. And I told him that I'd be ready to go in, preferably late December or early next year. And they know that I won't turn down any fight, so whoever they come up with is fine by me.
Are you pretty much a gym rat? Are you pretty much training in some way, shape, or form full time, or at least as much as you possibly can, which allowed you to do a pretty good training camp to get ready for the fight?
Yes, lately I have been. The guys at my CrossFit gym, they go, all right, we're gonna switch up your training a little bit. We're gonna try and make you more explosive, quicker. And then my kickboxing coach says, all right, you know what? We know you got good wrestling, jiu-jitsu. Let's work on your stand-up. So my trainers finally stepped in and said, we're gonna work on some of your weaknesses, and it's actually made training more enjoyable now. So I don't mind going to the gym, 4 or 5 days a week now.
Was that something you kind of like, okay, I'm doing this fighting thing now, but geez, do I have to do the training thing so freaking much?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I don't mind going to the gym, once a day. It's the training camps that always get me, I have to work out 2, sometimes 3 times a day. It just wears on your body, wears on my marriage. The wife is like, hey, what about us? And, I'm trying to bring I'm trying to spend time with my girls, and, having them at the gym for, 4 hours, 5 hours a day, I feel bad for them, So that's what wears on me.
Now, is this one of those fights to where you think that, you think maybe this could be something full time for you?
No. I got a full-time job, and I love my coaching. And the fighting, it's not that I don't do it full-time. It's just that, it's not my full-time gig. Anybody that's trained with me, I challenge anybody to say that I don't train full-time. I just, I don't spend 8 hours at the gym. I don't have 8 hours to spend at the gym a day. So the time I do spend at the gym, it's very focused. It's, it's a warm-up. We get right to the point, get it done, and then I can get home.
Talking to Jason Brilz here on Shambala Sports Radio. If you do have any questions, go ahead and chime in. I think Scott was getting ready to chime in with a question on his own, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Well,
Scott?
it goes along a little bit with your training regimen. Do you think that for those guys who are doing 6-8 hours a day at the gym, do you think that really moves them to overtraining?
It definitely does. There's numerous books out there that say, most of these elite athletes are way overtrained. During this, 4-week camp, I've had more off days where I did pretty much nothing than I've had during, my 8-10 week camps, and I felt great. And so I think it's so tough to tell yourself to take this day off, and And you know, my big focus for this one was do not overtrain. You know, just don't do it. You know, and when the time comes, you know, you'll be mentally and physically prepared for it.